So welcome back. In this segment of the tutorial, what I'm going to be teaching you guys is how you can edit your animation. So you brought in an animation in Blender that looks closely like what you want, but it's not exactly it. So I want to show you how you can use the Mixamo rig to edit your animation. So I'm going to be going over a couple of things here. So this was our last animation, but you see our character moves from the origin point forward. So it has a root motion basically, and we'll talk more about that in the next tutorial. But for now, what we want to do, we want to come back to frame 1. I have stopped the animation. I'm going to disable this too, and I want to enable this CR, that's control rig underscore working fast. So I need this animation. So now you can see that the interpolation mode for here is, for this one is, I've changed it to nothing, and as usual for the blending mode I've changed it to combine. You can see that there are a lot of other blending modes, but don't worry, we'll address the ones that are needed mostly for what you need to do. So firstly, now we have an animation, and we can see that our timeline is quite extended. So let me readjust my screen. So now when I play the animation, you see when it exceeds the length of the strip here, it goes back into its T-pose, okay? But let's say we want this character to continue walking because he has not gotten to where we need him to get to. So how do we do that? Blender has this feature under these options here. So remember, if you're not selecting the strip, you won't see anything here. So make sure you select the walking strip. Once you have done that and you come to the end over here under action clip, you see this repeat value. It says 1, which means just repeat it once. If we take this to 2, you see that it extends the animation by 2. So instead of it stopping here, you can see it continues the walk cycle. So you can as well use this to increase, you can just increase the repeat value all the way to get the clip as long as you need the walk cycle to occur. So now you see it just continues with that same motion. Alright, so also remember that Blender allows you to do some other adjustment, but first of all I want to tell you how you can add your own animation to this. Okay, so in order to add your own animation, first thing you want to do is I'm going to move this guy upwards, GY, I'm locking it on Y axis so that it goes up, does not shift backwards. I'll just snap it here for some reason. So let's take it back to, I'll just right click and say snap to current frame. So it will snap it to snap the strip, selected strip to where this frame is. So it's now at frame 1. Okay, I have selected the hand, the two hands, and the hip controller. Okay, so I play the animation again, you see it moving. So right now at frame 30, I'll select this bone, this one, and this one, and I want to store, because I want to make transformation to the hand and the hips because it's supposed to crouch. I'm going to first of all store the current pose right now. Yeah, so I'll press I so that it creates a new action sequence. You can see it has added it to my action editor. If you're in dope sheet, you can switch to your action editor and you see this. Yeah, and as soon as it does that, you can see that it gives you this option, what kind of action do you want to add. So what we want to do is first of all change this to nothing as usual, but instead of clicking on combine, we want to go to add. So what it's going to do is it's going to add a layer of animation to what we have currently. Okay, so if you zoom in very well here, you see it has created a new action over here. Okay, so I'll go forward a bit to 50, and you can see the dot over here. I created a keyframe at 30 for these two. Then let's say at not 30, let's go to 3 frames. So let's put in, so I have 1 2, I have 1 2 3. So I'll just put in 3s. I want to do the next action in frame 23. Okay, so now I'm going to push this guy down like he's crouching like this, you get. Okay, and when he passes here, of course he's going to change pose because we changed the extrapolation mode to nothing. So while in this frame and with my key selected here, I will copy this pose, and maybe I want it to continue like on that crouch pose until it gets to frame 90. So at frame 9, I'll carry my playhead to frame 90, and I will right click and paste pose. So you see it's not crouching. So I will also go to 30, maybe because we want him to stand up after 30, after frame 90. So I'll copy this pose that's of him before he started this action and take it 3 frames forward to 93, and bring my mouse back into the viewport, right click and paste pose. So now you see when we play the action from the beginning, you see that it has successfully added the crouch to the pose. Can you see that? So that's basically it. It also gives you this influence bar. So how much do you want the animation to be influenced by this guy? So let's go to where he has crouched. So if we reduce the influence, you see it comes back to the original pose. Or if you increase the influence to 100%, it's going to be exactly what you gave it. Yeah, so maybe somewhere around here I could still do an adjustment if I wanted to, and just pull the character lower. Let's see how that works out. So obviously Blender is going to interpolate. See, it keeps going down, then it starts coming back up. So for this frame, I don't think there's any need for it. I just wanted to show you that you can change an action to add, and use it to just add an additional tweak to an existing animation. Okay, so that's that for that. Now as our character is walking, remember these are strips. I'm going to push down so that I have that action now in my editor. So I can come over here, and maybe I want to edit the animation that is happening in here. I can just go and press tab to go into that mode, and maybe come to the frame where we have that action happening, and I'll zoom in over here. I know that it's here in my timeline. I can just delete it so that it maintains just this low pose continuously, then goes up. But I can see that the timing, let's give it some more time space between where the crouch motion ends and where he stands up. Okay, so I just move that keyframe forward. Okay, or you can just move both of them. I'm still seeing a glitch. So goes down, comes back up. Okay, so after I'm done, as long as this thing is green, you are in edit mode. So immediately you press tab and leave edit mode, you are no longer editing this action. So be careful to leave once you are done with the action you want to edit. Okay, I can see the hands. You see another thing, I can see my hands over here that they didn't get adjusted like the other one. So for the hips, we have at 45 and 105, it change occurring, so I'm going to select both hands at the same time, and I'll move this to, we said 95 here, and this last two will be at 105, which is this guy G. Okay, so beautiful. So now we've successfully added an action to this guy. So also remember that this is a strip. Even though it's elongated now, we can as well select this and press Y, or right click and go to split strip, so you can cut this and still move it forward, in case, just the way you do in other edit software. But the interpolation mode, you can do that if you want to add an action, then now end with the same walking fast motion. But that's not the point of me doing this. I also wanted to tell you that Blender allows you to do a little, adjust the playback speed of the selected strip. What does that mean? It's basically like it's scaling the playback. Let me roll it out here. So you see it's playback scale. So it's currently at 1. If I reduce it, if I reduce the playback scale to from like 1, which is 100%, to like 25%, watch what happens. The animation speeds up. Yes, so it's like you are fast forwarding the animation. But also we can take this back to 1 and maybe come forward here. The shortcut for splitting, you can right click and click on split, or you can use Y, whichever one is faster for you. The shortcut is Y, so I'm using Y. So I can select this one in the middle. You see it's still one continuous animation, but I just cut this part of the strip to isolate this, and now I can now increase the playback speed of this one. You see it's pushing the other one, so increase the playback speed to 4 point something, so it's basically scaling it out. So now this is how you now achieve this particular motion. Okay, so I'll go back to frame 1 and play the entire thing so that you see what we have been able to achieve with that. So it's walking, crouches, comes back to the walk and enters into slow motion. So you can use this for cinematic shots or whatever you're trying to do. It's going to maintain it for as long as you want. Yeah, so if you want it to be less, a bit faster, you can bring it down to somewhere here and snap this guy back here. Make sure there's no spacing between them. So you see that once it's done, it gets back into the normal speed. So those are editing you can do. You can use that for your product visualization too, where you have like a slow motion effect to reveal the brand on what your package or whatever. So yeah, that's that for that. Next, I'm going to show you how you can bake all these actions that we've created here. There are other options there, you can go over there, but I just feel like these are the major things you want to know about. And there is the reverse. Let's see what this reverse does. So we can enable this for this action and see it start working in reverse. So that's basically how that is. Yeah, for cyclic, I know cyclic we're supposed to do like a loop, so you can, I'm sure you can use that to adjust your you can use that for a single strip instead of increasing the repeats. But I'm not going to go through that. You feel free to explore yourself and see what the NLA has to offer your project. Okay, so when you click on reverse, it affects the part of the strip that is selected, not the whole track. So please note that. If you want it to affect this next part, you click on reverse again, and so it works from the slow-mo, and continues with the regular speed. Okay, so for example, your animation is too fast, know that you can use this scaling to adjust the speed of your animation. So that's that for that. Next, I'm going to tell you how you can bake your whole sequence of actions you've put together here into a single action and export that into Unreal Engine. Okay,